Well, they've got all of this bit right here before we go back down to that front straightaway to try and get some heat into the tires. Alessandro Di Tullio and Iacopo Martinez. Now, they've already duked it out a little bit in the heats. We've seen what it's like with those two going at each other. Joe Turney, we've obviously already seen up at the front of the field today, but curious what will happen when the likes of Hannah Greenemeyer gets back up and into the mix. She's got a good starting spot on the inside. Frankie Mossman kind of got there to the end of that K senior race. Obviously, Austin Garrison solely in Pro X30 here this weekend. He only just finally seemed to kind of turn the tide of his progress with the morning's heat races.
How about Paulie Massimino in that KA race, able to lead at one time, right? He's starting 12th here. You know how aggressive it's going to get early, and Paulie's a driver. If he's got a piece, it's going to get aggressive as well.
And I'm really interested to see what looks to be the driver on the next page of Rose. Ryan Norberg, remember thinking back to when he had the DQ in a heat race in 2023, he started almost as far back as this, I believe 17th or 18th. Starts 22nd here tonight under the lights. But with 25 laps to get her done, you got a lot of time. And it's one thing we've learned, if the lead pack stays dicey, you can go from way back and get into the mix.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's line them up, bring them into the tram lines, and get at it. 25 laps, as we said, main events, the first of two for you. Pro X30 getting ready to roll, brought to you by Perico Energy Drink. And you know that Di Tullio was going to crawl them down the front straightaway. Waiting for that green flag to fly on the outside. Iacopo Martinez, ADT going to start things off. The opening 6-7 corners are going to be absolutely hectic. Look at this crawl. Waiting for it. We got it. Green, green, green. Racing into turn number one.
Everybody's trying to avoid that puddle on the outside, so you're not getting nearly as much of a spread into turn two. But off the rip through to four. Big moment for Jake Drew and Mossman, and around goes Burnett in the 15. So he lost a couple. And how about the rookie? Alexander Vanchev leads the field under the lights.
The biggest driver, the best driver in junior racing here in 2025. He finds himself out front for RPG, coming through the chaos. Alexander Vanchev goes P1, and another one of the drivers around. That's the 22.
Chico
Brown. Yeah, Chico Brown.
The double junior SuperNats winner will not get any closer, and it took out a number of contenders. Massimino to the back there. Brown caught out by the lower grip, and it's a huge breakaway for the main group.
Dave Serra, we talked to him in the morning show. He said, if I'm Vanchev, I'm going to go. I need to go, set the tone early, get to the front. I got nothing to lose. Well, guess what? He was listening to Vanchev to the point.
Well, hey, Xander, how about the two tales of experience in this particular category? You got Vanchev, the rookie at the SuperNats, and the junior driver who won so many races this year, chased down by Joe Turney.
Oh, man. Joe Turney has also had a very interesting day when you look at the protests and appeals and the back and forth, right? First, second by all of 200ths to be able to defend that KA win, then ends up getting it off the pushback, then the pushback's revoked. Now he just wants to at least go 3 for 4.
What are we talking about with big moves early and things that you got to do to set the tone to give yourself a shot? How about Le Mesurier up to 10th,
big
up
time.
13 spots on lap number 1. Le Mesurier still in this conversation, especially if those front groups start running.
Yeah, we got ourselves a 6-driver breakaway right now already. Vanchev, Turney, Di Tullio, Greenemeyer, Moya, and Martinez. It's a bigger gap back, almost 3 seconds, Xander, to Caden McQueen, who's been able to work his way up 6 spots early, and behind McQueen, Nash, and then we said Le Mesurier and Bonilla.
What a huge breakaway here of nearly 3.5 seconds for the main 7 off all the carnage with Brown going around in turn number 10. And how about Vanchev continuing to hold the lead? Turney's not making a ton of inroads yet. We've obviously seen now Moya go up the board to 3rd, the pole sitter back to 4th, and a little bit of changing back to Martinez, but man, there is a calmness right now with a rookie leading the way.
Yeah, and Le Mesurier and Dino Bonilla both making the moves. Plus 14 for Le Mesurier and 17 up for Bonilla. Both those drivers blasting their way into the top 10 early.
Probably picked the right way through the corners there in turn number 4. Maybe able to get the short way around instead of the long way around. Jake Drew back there in 15th after that incident.
Yeah, he got sent back. Garrison back. Massimino's not even in the top 25 right now on screen. Norberg back to 25th. Didn't get a good start either. Big shakeup, though, with a handful of drivers from the back of the grid able to kind of pick apart the pieces. But, yeah, a lot of drivers already probably feeling like they're out of the running.
Listen, you think about RPG too, led by Ryan Norberg last number of years, right? Dono, of course, Bonilla getting some wins there. Hayden Jones has been the deal. Look what they got up front in the top 6 right now. You've got the leader, Vanchev, the young rookie driver. Then you got Greenmeyer, who ran for you a number of years ago, won a Pro Tour, is now car racing. Both those drivers on RPG equipment in the top 5.
Last time by, Ruben Moya went purple, and wow, right on cue. Joe Turney wants to send it for the lead. Little bit over aggressive there. He'll get caught out by it. Vanchev holds, but the number 6 is on the move, folks. Ruben Moya closing in. Yellow's waving here in this sector. I wonder if we had a wreck in the back. Ryan Raffa's just joined the pit lane here, so.
Xander, if you see the back there, the barriers were actually broken on the exit of turn number 10, so someone went through the barriers at the exit of 10.
That little back and forth that we just saw between Vanchev and Turney, that's allowed the back 3 there. That's going to be Martinez and DeTulio and Greenemar. They actually had their own little swap-a-rooney. Greenemar was in 3rd or 4th rather for a minute. Now back into it. They can still have some inroads coming. Because guess what? Here comes Moya P2.
Ruben Moya able to get the over-under on Turney, and just like that, a little defending from the rookie out front, trying to hold the leads, backing him up, and we're 6 deep. Turney with a run to the high side of Moya. They'll go nearly 3 wide. Martinez to the inside and gets by his teammate there for 3rd.
That's what I expected to happen for sure, as these guys up front are all working their way together here. Good stuff here.
Yeah, Alexander Vanchev now leaves the door open. First time in a lap he leaves it open, and Ruben Moya makes him pay. New leader, the Spanish Salmon. All but for maybe 100 feet, Mike. Here comes Vanchev with an answer right back.
Yeah, exactly. Not quite enough. Oh, contact right there. It's going to be in the walls, Moya. Moya in the wall. There was contact from Vanchev. He didn't quite have the overlap. In for the apex goes Moya. Contact, Moya in the wall.
Big time implications here in the main. Joe Turney out of the lead. DeTulio to 2nd. Ruben Moya trying to hold the top spot over Alexander Vanchev and gets sent into the water and then into the barriers.
Yeah, unbelievably tough for Moya, able to continue on. There's going to be an activation of the pushback for sure. I'll say this, if he can come back to the front, we're not going to worry about the pushback because he can just come to the front right now. Here's the replay. Watch Vanchev get into the back of the right rear. He gets shuffled off into the water on the outside of the racetrack. Bam! Off the racetrack.
There was also another look as well at Joe Turney's mechanic, Daniel Tate. They've had a very successful run together, but they've got DeTulio now on their heels. Took him a little bit to kind of find his footing, Mike, but the 94 last time by looked pretty sporty. In fact, he's now on the cusp, looking inside. New leader, Alessandro DeTulio in turn 4.
Yeah, DeTulio started on pole, got shuffled back, has had to do a little bit of work, but guess what? The speed was never in question. He's been one of the ones to beat. Nash to the inside further back. I believe that was on Greenemar. Guess what, guys? They didn't waste any time on business picking it up.
Oh my goodness, I thought that was going to be 3 wide coming in there, Xander. My goodness. And with Greenmeyer on the outside of that, Joe Turney's gone back to the front. DeTulio in 2nd, Martinez 3rd. Oh, big move to the bottom. DeTulio to the inside. Book it. He goes through to P1.
That was huge for Alessandro DeTulio, and now he takes the whole train to the inside. Martinez to the outside. Blake Nash inside, hangs on for 3rd. McQueen is there, and so is the rest of the pack closing in.
Guys, would we have expected any less out of this caliber of talent? Look at the big run around the outside. Not going to work, as that's going to get pinched off by Turney. Turney's going to come back to the inside as well, as that's McQueen. How has Caden McQueen got himself up here? He's been almost nowhere throughout the weekend. He goes to P3. Shake this things up. Here comes McQueen.
And guess who else is in there? The number 23 of the Missouri, or there he is right there. The boys picked it up right away.
This race is far from over. Gus Lawrence back in it as well. Donovan Bonilla, oh man, really wide there, almost into the wall for either Greenemeier or it looked to be Vanchev back around 7th. But Bonilla's on the way. Jake Drew got spun sideways in turn 4 on the opening lap. He's not done either. He's back into frame, and there is the original leader, Vanchev, in the middle.
Little adjustment further back there. Nash pulling up on that radiator cover, trying to cool that motor down a little bit. Keeping an eye on the gauges for sure. Caden McQueen does the underneath move that worked for Turney over in KA. Can he run the outside of the racetrack here? DeTulio to the bottom. McQueen's trying to go to 2nd. They're going to go 2 wide through here again. He's got to give it up. Great job from McQueen. That was split-second decision, Xander. Able to pull back, Mike. not getting wrecked.
Ruben Moya is wheeling and absolutely destroyed Pantano right now. He's back in the top 10 with probably at least a bent tie rod, if not a steering column as well, after tagging the wall. Ramos is there. The amount of drivers that are back in the conversation is crazy.
Does Moya have a free pass on the pushback right now? He's 100% because it was done there. Free pass for him for sure.
I was talking to Race Labrante about one of the heat races, and he had an issue early where it knocked that bumper, and he's like, well, I'm not going to make any friends on this one, and he just went to the front.
That's it.
And now DeTulio is gone. Blake Nash has been tracking down the leaders. He's gotten to the reigning main event winner. Is he going to work with him? He's pointing forward. Mika Lemus-Surrier showing a lot of speed this week also. Do they keep the faith in Turney, or do they leave him to the wayside to try to hunt down the Floridian out front?
Guys, Lemus-Surrier's up 19 positions, Mike. Are you kidding me? Dono Bonilla up 16. He's into 11th. He's going to be at the tail of the group just back there. Here comes the rest of the field scrolling through. Lemus-Surrier, the driver to watch right now.
We still have half the race to go. What a first half of this race, boys.
Incredible. This track has given us a lot of great main events. I don't think we're done yet. McQueen versus Vanchev here, back for 5th. If they're not careful, we'll find ourselves in a similar story of last year where it's a 4-driver breakaway and a big gap to the rest of the field. Sounded like a barrier impact somewhere on the circuit just in front of us. But beyond that, we stay green. Here's a look at Vanchev, Ramos, Gus Lawrence, Greenemeyer, and there is Moya, albeit under fire with Martinez sending it on him.
Yeah,
those two also.
Martinez throwing the slider in there and parked it at the corner of the, probably the apex of the corner. Look at DeTulio pulling away a little bit here. How about 6 or 7 tenths of a second? Yeah, it's Turney behind him, but he is rolling right now. And there comes Nash back to the inside of Lemus-Surrier. They are not working together to close back up. Nash back to P3.
You called it, Xander. If they aren't careful, we're going to have a repeat scenario where someone can pull away and get away from things. And right now, DeTulio threatening to do just that. It is Turney behind him. They've got a little bit of an advantage to the 2 drivers behind him, Lemus-Surrier and Nash. They need to hook up and get going because right now they're starting to lose the top 2.
There's a look as well at a number of drivers and family members looking on. Ellie Goldstein and Martin Kremers keeping an eye on the action here. Pro Shifter, of course, following this one up. Turney took a moment here to try and figure out what he needed to do to go faster. I think he has. We're at the halfway point now. Look at the gap. Was half a second. What's it come down to now? Maybe a little bit less. Last time by 2 tenths improvement for JT. It was 7 tenths down to 5.
Those RPG drivers have gone back a little bit. Greenemeyer, Vanchev, and now Gus Lawrence up into the 9th position. Lawrence on the move as well. Finally getting things dialed in. Those machines all lined up. 7 back to 9th as they try to go to work on Diego Ramos.
Joe Turney closing in. Blake Nash, all the speed, all the performance all week long, and he can almost taste it, Mike, but it just keeps getting further away.
Did you guys see the helmet of Joe Turney? He comes out of turn number 7. He looks to the left. He looks at the Jumbotron to see what's going on over there. Turney taking all the information he can.
Yeah, I'm curious how many drivers have been able to use that to decide whether or not to defend or what to do. Let's see if DeTulio's noticed when he exits turn 1 with the podium screen that JT is there and covers low in turn 4. He's a half car length away, closing in for the lead on lap 15. No, nothing yet in turn 4. He's going to hold back, Rob.
Yeah, here's your 2 drivers for that pull away. We've seen the breakaway already before. One driver
into the pit lane, new leader here, turn 7.
Yeah, we knew it was going to come sooner or later. Let's see what DeTulio does. I'm assuming he'll just sit there and try to pull away. Might as well make it a 2-driver battle right now that DeTulio isn't the guy out front. You got Turney there, but guys, he's already stretching away. I want to say a half a cart length, maybe a full cart length. Can the draft help DeTulio get back into it right now? Because Turney looks like he's ready to dial things up. Does he even go purple this time? He does not, with the gap 3 tenths of a second at the line.
Don't look now as well further back. Diego Ramos and Caden McQueen are closing in on Mika Lemus-Surrier for the 4th spot. They're still a little ways away, but if they get a little bit of battling up for the lead, there's 2 more that could get into it. Crash down at turn 1. Doesn't look like it'll be a red. It will be a local yellow. 1 driver through the wall. Right down in front of us here in front of the broadcast booth in the Perico pit box. Turney. I don't think he's going to get away here, fellas. DeTulio had a great middle sector, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. That pass happened. Maybe he got into the marbles a little bit during that pass. Maybe lost a little something. Shake that stuff off the rubber and get back in the game.
Mike, we're here where we talked about. This is now uncharted territory, right? They got 14, 15 laps in an extended 12-minute session on Thursday before qualifying. Now we're into the point where it's that next 10 laps that they haven't run yet. How do the tires line up? They haven't done a long race simulation like this. Tire pressure, whatever they went for at the start of this race, this is where it's going to start to show what it's got.
Well, you also want to make sure that you don't do too much too soon, because you've got the best opportunity to keep this a couple of people only. And right now, it is, well, we got a little, it's not full defense out of Turney, but a little bit tighter line, enough for Tutulio for a great crossover. Is he going to have enough? Turn 8, new leader.
Yeah, I like to see that. We're not going to get a Turney runaway right now. Hello, Blake Nash. He's back there in the number 5, and Lemessurier is coming on again as well. He's got about a second back to the McQueen-Ramos trade, trying to reel him in. We've essentially, guys, almost got a 4-driver run up front. Lemessurier looking for that big draft coming down the straightaway.
And let me set the table a little bit for you guys as well. Our last 2 major Pro X30 events on the year following the Summer Nats were won by Joe Turney in August in Newcastle. But in that race, Tutulio and Gus Lawrence went at it a little aggressive and allowed Joe to get away. And the next one, Joe wasn't there, and there's contact into the wall. Tutulio and Blake Nash. Turn 5 blowed out the barriers completely.
It was Blake Nash going for the crossover. He got all the way in there. Joe Turney had no idea there was 2 people to his inside. He gave enough room for 1. There just wasn't enough room. It was not malicious at all, boys.
You could see that. Obviously, Tutulio, when Turney made the move, kind of jinked the move out to the outside, but wanted to get it back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Nash, as you had said, had tried to roll that tight line through, and they just all came together, guys. Mike, have a look at this.
There's the move to the inside. It goes in deep. He wants to carry the extra speed. Look, both of them with the over-under. Turney has no idea they are there.
And you see that there. I'm sure we're going to look at it again, but if you watch Nash on that next replay shot, he gets into the curbing on the inside. That shoots the car up in the air. At that point, the force is going to take you to the outside into the Tutulio.
Long for the ride.
And how about the ultimate underdog story, potentially, for Mika Lemessurier? We're trying to research this kid from Australia. His first time ever setting foot in the United States, and my goodness, has he put the world on notice. Could he go up against some of the best in the world right now, surrounded by the top 2 from KA100 Senior, and one of the best the UK's had to offer in this generation, Caden McQueen. This kid's impressive, and what a tale of 2 there with Tutulio on the inside of the racetrack. A serious shot at a SuperNats win.
What could have been.
Indeed that, and did Joe Turney get any damage at all during that scenario? He's got Lemessurier right there, Ramos in the combo, McQueen, who, by the way, was hating everything about the qualifying and the heat races, and I talked to him right before we got going, and he's like, oh, we got a fast machine. We're in the conversation.
How about this too, guys? It's Kart Republic, it's LN, it's Viral Art, and it's Sodi Kart. 4 different chassis manufacturers in the top 4 right now.
It's about to get really tight up front. Turney already starting to cover the low side. Ramos putting the heat on Lemessurier is going to make it really tough for a crossover. 5 laps to go. Mika's got a good run to turn 1. He's not quite close enough for anything there, and they'll rocket through the first corner and head over towards turn 4.
You do have a 3-pack of RPGs behind him. If this continues, you're going to have a Lawrence, Vanchev, Greenemeyer RPG coming.
Yeah, the RPG trio of Lawrence, Vanchev, and Greenemeyer lining up. They're going to be able to see this and start working their way forward. Lemessurier making the move now down to the inside of Caden McQueen. We've said this so many times before. If you're trying to beat Turney, excuse me, you've got to get by him. Someone needs to get Turney out of the lead right now.
There's one man that has today already. Diego Ramos, could he double up and repeat the feat that Joe Turney put on in 2024? It's been an unprecedented year of results for the Brazilian. He'll nearly end up in the wall. Turney quick to cover the inside out of the final turn. 4 to go.
And around the outside comes Diego, going to drop those right side tires in that little bit of wetness. Lemessurier said, I'm going to take this. He'll go to the inside of the racetrack as well. Handful of laps remaining, as we know, just 4 laps. To the inside comes Caden McQueen. He'll go side by side through turn 6 into 7. Turney to the bottom of the racetrack. McQueen goes to P2.
Now, Joe Turney has to cover back low again. Mika Lemessurier getting the better of McQueen for P2. Here comes the rest of the field. Up front, Turney's got them under control. Moya, with a destroyed Pantano, is still in the top 10, nearly up to the podium right now.
And look at the lead group now, ladies and gentlemen. How many cars are in there? We talked about it when we did the track walk. You defend at this racetrack, everybody comes back into the fight. 22 laps down, 3 to go. Lemessurier to the inside. Book it! He'll take the lead out of turn number 1.
He's got to quickly cover off, but McQueen's got to run. Caden McQueen inside, hasn't tasted the lead all weekend. Can he hold it? Turn 5, yes! Caden McQueen, new leader with 3 to go.
What a run for McQueen. The Sony Kart goes to the lead. Ramos into second. What did I say about putting Turney back? Oh, contact there, driver's out.
Moya!
Moya has hit the wall coming out of turn number 7.
Moya's day ends with a second wall impact as Mika Lemasurier feeds a wheel to Joe Turney in turn 10. That'll give the top 2 some breathing room. Lawrence to 4th.
This has allowed the RPG drivers to come in. There's Lawrence up there. Watch Vanchev and Greenmeyer are going to be in it as well. Caden McQueen leads the way right now, I believe indeed he does. He's out front, guys. There are 2 laps to go.
A barn burner finish awaits us here, Rob. 2 laps remaining. Can Diego Ramos get the double? Here he goes. Back to the lead into 4. McQueen lets him go, tries to cross him up. Side by side again as Turney tries to hold off the cavalry. A mano-a-mano fight into 7.
Yeah, Turney 100% getting attacked by Lawrence right now. Gus Lawrence is pushing. Yellow flags remain in turn number 7. Diego Ramos trying to see if he can't come away with back-to-back wins. Contact at the back. He'll go to the bottom. Look at Turney rolling the outside there. Here we come to the final lap.
McQueen able to arc it right now, but Ramos continuing to park the bus. If he doesn't get crossed up, it'll get even tougher as Turney inches closer. White flag, 1 lap to go in SuperNats 28 and Pro X30. Ramos to the low side.
Here we go, final lap. Ramos covers the bottom of the racetrack but leaves the door open. Here comes Caden McQueen. He'll go to the bottom here right now. Turney is still there. Gus Lawrence hasn't found a way by. Turney gets to the back of him. He pushes him through the corner. Turney with the bump and run in turn number 4. Gus Lawrence right there in the number 7 as well. Turney takes the lead.
Gus Lawrence would love to end the storyline that Joe Turney's the best driver from the UK. Half a lap to do it. McQueen wants vengeance as well. Into turn 10, Lawrence low, all following Turney as wide goes what looked to be maybe Vanchev or Martinez.
Will it be a bump and run from Lawrence at the end? Turney's got the bottom of the racetrack. No one's going to challenge him. It's another victory for Joe Turney in Pro X30 at SuperNationals 28.
And look at this, Caden McQueen not happy about that one. Turney, he drives him into the fence.
Contact and chaos coming into pit lane. Indeed, not happy for Caden McQueen. They tried to put 2 carts in. Let's have a look at this.
What the fuck are you doing, mate? You spastic. Are you that desperate? That desperate? Unbelievable. Fucking hell. What are you doing? Oh, para tomar. Para tomar, eu vi. Vai que lugar que eu cheguei. Vai.
And as you can see on the screen, a pushback bumper for Joe Turney means Gus Lawrence is your 2025 SKUSA SuperNats champion in Pro X30. All results provisional, but my goodness, Gus Lawrence victorious.
Gustafer. An absolutely ecstatic RPG crew. Gus Lawrence is just absolutely congratulating everybody. This is an incredible scene. Gus, I've got to ask you, because we know Joe Turney has a pushback bumper. Still more congratulations. I'm going to have to steal him away. Gus, we believe provisionally you have won the 28th running of the SKUSA SuperNationals in X30 Pro. Just give me your thoughts as you stand here right now.
I don't know what to think. Honestly, I had a really terrible start, really. I was going backwards. People were dive bombing, overtaking. I just kept chipping away, and it all came to me at the end.
It was one of the most crazy races I think anyone has ever seen. How did you manage to take advantage of that chaos and get into a position to win this race?
I went into the last lap fourth. I expected to get a podium, and then obviously when we went into that bottom corner, the footage does the explaining for you. So I knew I didn't need to push anything. It was going to happen for me. So
I can hear the emotion in your voice. Just kind of describe this.
It's unbelievable. Honestly, how my week's gone, I did not expect it. Number 7 on my car. I had people text me, lucky number 7. That's incredible.
Well, it wouldn't be Vegas without a little bit of luck. And Gus Lawrence, we believe, has won the 28th running of the SuperNationals in X30, and the streak continues. A different winner every single year.
Well, you guys were here with the KA Senior Podium. There's a lot to unpack from this, Rob. I don't know. We'll let you take the floor first.
Yeah, so here, the interesting thing here right now is this is very similar to what we saw with the Ramos tourney, the Ramos tourney win, where Ramos had a pushback activation. So remember, they took the provisional people to the podium for that race for Diego. There were people who were saying, well, why would you take him if he's going to push back? He eventually was able to protest the pushback and was given the win after that penalty. So what do you do here right now with Joe Turney? He's won the race on the track. There is a pushback. Did it happen with the contact? It may not have happened with the contact with Caden McQueen. If it happened earlier in the race and he can prove that that's when it happened, Turney could still be the win. Yes, I understand a huge congratulations and celebration for Gus Lawrence. But if it turns around and they protest it, again, what do we do right here now with the podium? Based on having already set precedents at the start of the day with Diego Ramos.
I can tell you one thing here. Gus Lawrence is going to celebrate this one regardless. What an incredible drive through the field here for what started off this year, our introduction to him on a tryout, Mike. He was here on a 2-race deal, and it was, hey, well, let's see how you do. Let's see how you gel. He won the second one. He nearly won on debut. He is a star, and no doubt about it, a deserving champ if it ends up going that way. However, there's a lot more than just Gus Lawrence to talk to after what we witnessed. Let's go down to Caleb.
Thank you there, Xander. Joe, we saw that final lap. Tell me about your perspective. I know your competitors just weren't all that happy.
No, I mean, obviously a tight race, dark, cold, hard race. Yeah, I mean, coming down to the straight there, I think Caden was annoyed because I got into the back of him, but I mean, he had Diego on his outside, and to keep him there, he broke so early. He broke like in the middle of the straight to keep Diego on his outside, which I get, but it's not just them two racing. There's more. There's a whole group of us coming behind at full speed, so if you're going to break there, then, you know, break that early. You should expect to be hit, I think. I still made the corner that lap, made the apex, made the corner every other lap. So, you know, just a race, and then managed to hold on to it at the end.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it from Joe Turney's side, right? Obviously, they're going to continue to try and push on this one, because if he's able to overturn the pushback, or again, if there was a penalty that would have been given for the contact with McQueen, we don't know. We're knowing what we see from the side.
You see, obviously, more.
And here a little bit more, right? I mean, you're going to have that. We've seen it through the week, right? And it was only a matter of time whether or not it was going to end up in the main or not. Because you have a track with so many places to pass each other, so many options to race. Contact's inevitable. Martinez had quite a bit of it, Caleb. Let's set it down to you and Iacopo.
I think I was P20.
Yeah, that's correct. At some point you were in P20, and you just said the most chaotic race of your life. But I want to take you back to this morning, right? Heartbreak for you. And again, P20 to the podium. How are you feeling here, Iacopo?
It's been really up and down day. Because knowing the speed that we had in both categories, I was pretty confident in KA and X30. But yeah, unfortunately, in the first lap, I made a mistake trying to be a bit too optimistic on the outside on the first lap in a final. And for sure, no one wants to be overtaken on a first lap on the outside, especially if it's a final. But yeah, now it's been starting second, was struggling a bit the first laps, got a bit the pace during the race. It felt like I was struggling a little bit, but wasn't really thinking about that. I knew that at the end of the race, at some point, it was starting to be a massive mess. And yeah, I was just taking opportunities. Then luckily, I wasn't involved in the crushing after the fast chicane. And yeah, to be honest, I couldn't really thought about a podium finish before the last lap, but yeah, here we are.
Well, there you go. You're on the podium at the
Thank you
SuperNationals. Congrats, Jacopo. Send it over to Dave.
We're here with the provisional P4 finisher, Diego Ramos. Diego, I guess just kind of talk through that, because that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. You know, we tried to race clean the whole race. We had a great pace, amazing package this week. And yeah, unfortunately, finished the last lap like this. Always racing clean every lap, and then you get pushed from behind, and you don't have where to go. It's not the way that we should racing, but yeah, it is what it is.
Could you describe that last lap a little bit more for me? Just kind of specifics about who, where, why, and how.
Was me and McQueen, and we had passing each other during the race clean, and opened the last lap clean as well. I overshoot a bit the first corner. He was under me, and yeah, we go turn 2 side by side, and then we got just smashed from behind, and you know where to go. I mean, unfortunately, we finished before, and also McQueen that had a shot to win, but yeah, it is what it is.
Diego Ramos certainly disappointed, but certainly a lot to talk about after this one.
Indeed. And Dave, I should clarify too, right? We were trying to guess how Joe Turney might have had the right front bumper pushed in. Well, I mean, we did have a pretty easy look at that. We were just so taken aback by what we saw in the main and everything else that we didn't think about it. But it was contact with the outside wall, obviously, that could have done it as well. Let's hear from the other side of the last lap carnage and finish. Caden McQueen with Caleb.
Caden, I see the emotion in your eye. Talk to me about those last couple laps, just so close to a SuperNationals victory.
Yeah, look, you know, most drivers out there drove a great race. Most of them were clean. A few of them weren't, and that's what cost us the win, really. We had a good switch back on Diego. As usual, Diego leaves enough room. You know, I never had a problem with him. He's never had a problem with me. We've always raced really fair. He left enough room. I was up the inside, and then, yeah, well, I think we all saw what happened on the stream.
Thank you, Caden.
Thanks.
Well, let's take you through that here, Mike. Quick look at our Shop AKR replay as they sort things out down at the podium where Rob is, of the moments, the final couple of deciding factors as to how the provisional podium ended up the way that it did here in Perico Pro X30's main event. Pro Shifter main event, obviously on tap as well, but we'll take a look back here with our Shop AKR replay. Here's a side of the screen you can see already. Turney on the inside, going into the corner, following McQueen. Let's see if we can pull that full screen for you guys as well and run that back so we can break it down a little bit further. We'll bring that up here in just a moment and allow Mike to kind of dive in to what we just witnessed right there. But already, I mean, again, to Joe's credit, there were karts behind. It's really one of those you're going to be splitting hairs looking to see, and hard to say until we pull the replay back up. We'll have it in one moment here.
Yeah, and Joe had mentioned earlier, like if you're going to try to run defense, like he was talking about in the other categories as well, especially KA100, about trying to break deeper when you got that defensive maneuver. Now, the other thing he was all saying, to be fair, was, you know, he was racing the guy who was outside. He was racing Ramos, who was outside. What I'll be curious to see is the stern. Like, was there anybody pushing Turney going into the corner? That's going to be kind of the telltale scenario.
Yeah, so we'll see if we can take another look at the replay of that here and then get ready to send it right down to Rob. We know Pro Shifter's on tap as well. And here's a look at this moment right here. So Turney to the inside. This was to get to the lead earlier on. The quick look at the Coastal Link recap. Mika Lemasurier in the mix. And then here, Turney side by side with Ramos. A little bit then wide in turn 4. A lot of white lining in the middle of the race. Back the field up. Brought more in. And then, of course, the big moment for Ruben Moya with 2 to go. Here, Mika Lemasurier side by side with Turney kind of sent the Aussie back a little ways. And then Ramos and McQueen, Diego was right. There was a lot of good back and forth position trading. But right here, final lap.
That's a pretty good shot on the entry, and no third-party help either.
No, but again, that's not the only contact. Turney on the right front. First of all, Jake Drew, Ramos, and Vanchev. That was the look at what happened in the back sector. And then right here down the front straightaway is where you can make the great argument. Again, Joe's onboard camera or the race control cameras would be the way to try and argue this case. Let's see here, zoomed in. Look at this angle. I mean, if that wouldn't push in the right front, I'm not sure what would. That's pretty head on and at the angle that it normally would go in at that far corner. But either way, we'll announce the provisional podium. We don't know where the final results will land. We'll probably know those by the end of Pro Shifter or so. For now, let's go down to you, Rob, as they finish on the racetrack.
A wild finish for sure, and as we did with our KA100 seniors, it will be a provisional podium. Obviously, you saw some of the contact there at the race. We saw what happened to Joe Turney coming into pit lane. The pushback bumper obviously would make it look like Gus Lawrence would eventually get the victory. A lot needs to be done before we were able to lock and load that. Obviously, a lot of video needs to get looked at. Again, some excitement, of course, in Pro X30. So we are going to roll right now into the podium provisionally as they finished on the racetrack. We'll start with the driver coming home in the 5th position, Jacopo Martinez, finishing P5. Jacopo, congratulations. We'll get you to come over here to Tom Kutcher. The trophy is there. Great stuff here for the Pro X30 category. Some excitement for sure. Contact on the last lap. Contact coming into pit lane. Lots of stuff happening. Finishing in 4th spot, Diego Ramos. Ramos P4. Race win in the podium for the PSL Karting Bureau Art driver here. What a fantastic battle that was up front. Finishing in 3rd spot, number 9 on the Sody Kart, Caden McQueen. Obviously, the emotions of the drivers coming up here are mixed at best, as McQueen will come up to get that 3rd place trophy. Finishing in the 2nd spot, you never know how it's going to play out. P2 on the road, Gus Lawrence finishing P2. Gus Lawrence in the 2nd spot. Again, provisionally P2 for Lawrence, who was able to work his way forward after a gnarly little opening couple of laps. The driver who comes home as the race winner provisionally. Won it on the road, ladies and gentlemen. The victor thus far, Joe Turney. So Turney, Lawrence, McQueen, Ramos, and Martinez, the drivers on the podium today. And of course, lots of questions remain to be answered in this category here now. Lots of excitement on the racetrack and even a little bit more here off track as well. Guys, do me a favor. Get those trophies up in the air, please, over top of your heads. This is the provisional podium in Pro X30. Got to have the excitement, got to have a little bit of controversy here in SuperNationals 28. The drivers out there are getting it done on the racetrack. Good stuff. All right, guys, drop those trophies down for me. If you'd like to put your helmets in the back, feel free to do that. We're going to spray some champagne afterwards. I myself would like my helmet covered in champagne again. I get it as well. You can get those off to the side if you like. Put those trophies down in your positions. We'll grab those champagne and do a little provisional celebrating as well. All right, gentlemen, you've got the champagne. Get over there, Ramos. They're going to go after it here right now. Champagne spraying. They might as well go after Turney. Caden McQueen's going to douse him up. If anything, he's going to fill that back up. So there you have it, folks. Again, a provisional result here in Pro X30. Xander Clements, a wild one for sure. One more race still to come. This event, of course, will not be locked and loaded and made official until they've looked at lots of video. No doubt about that.